Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to Show and Tell number 293. I should have double checked that before I hit record, but then it would make it seem like I knew what I was doing. Anyway, what am I wearing before I forget? This is a bias knit shawl, just bias knit shawl. I think I kind of followed like a stitch pattern for how to do the bias, but the color and everything for this is using 2 fingering weights held double, and I faded them in going, color A and B, color B and B, B and C, C and C, and fading them in together that way instead of doing the alternated row fade. So kind of half pattern, half knot. I also extended the length and width of this because A, I had a whole bunch of yarn. B, I am not exactly a petite person. My circumference is a little wide. So anyway, love the shawl. I've got 2 FOs and 3 WIPs to talk to you guys about. So I don't know if you are going to see this on March 5th or March 12th yet. It all depends on how the mail runs this week. I would rather have the unboxing of Yarnable and row 1, but it all depends on whether or not row 1 gets here before Friday afternoon. So I'm filming just in case today for our show and tell. But this could be like 2 weeks before you see this, which means there's going to be like tons of information that I'm not going to know until show and tell 294, because this will be filmed 2 weeks in advance or a week and a half in advance. So anyway, we're going to roll with it, because what did we say last week? I feel good. I don't hurt. Nothing insane is going on in this moment. I'm taking the opportunity to film when I can. That way we always have a video on our normal upload schedule, Tuesdays or whatever, but we always have a Thursday and a Saturday video. Thursday is the most important because that's always been the show and tell video. So anyway, I do think I'm going to start trying to move the upload time or go live time for these videos also up a little bit. I've had a couple of people say 6:30 in the evening's too late. So I think I might move these up to like 4:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. Let you guys have something to listen to on your way home or while you're making dinner, because apparently that's what a couple of you guys like. And a number of you guys also eat early like I do, which I always find kind of reassuring. So anyway, I've had my fingers in a lot of different things, but it's been very difficult to like sit through things. I did have a couple of like funny moments I wanted to share though. So like I've just, life does life things. And when you're an adult, you have to do the adulty thing. You can't always do what you want to do. So I've had a lot of like adulting to do over the last couple weeks, and that's fine. And this week was another one of those weeks, but I did touch things and I'm very excited. And I'm very excited to share because I did make really good progress on a number of things, even though I feel like I didn't do what I had set out to do necessarily. But anyway, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if like the stars are just aligning or the state of South Carolina is about to rip itself out of the map of the US, but we've had 2 large earthquakes in the last month, in the month of February. One was like the 13th and it was a 2.8. And then last week we had a 3.0. That one was centered right under Lake Murray. And I live, as a crow flies, like maybe 2.5, 3 miles from Lake Murray. Like not that far as a crow flies. It does take me like forever to my way around. But yeah, so that was kind of one of those. I had to calm the cats down and everything. Everybody was asleep. And all of a sudden it was like the whole house started shaking. This time it started shaking from the top down, which was kind of weird. Like the sound of the house rattling moved down the house. Both of these have been more of an auditory impact for our house, not so much like the house like shaking itself apart. But we have also had a number of minor earthquakes all over the state recently. And we do have faults that are under South Carolina, But yeah, normally like when something like this happens, it's coming out of Jenkinsville, but these have been like at the coast and in Columbia. So it's been very close by. Little wild, little wild. The one we had, about 10 years ago was wild though, because that one was like you could feel the ground undulating. These are more like vibration tremors, and it sounds, at first you think, oh, that's thunder. Then living this close to Air Force bases and Army bases, we go, okay, well, no, there's some like hotshot pilot that's doing something he shouldn't. And then the sound still doesn't fade, and it's like, oh crap, it's an earthquake. So yeah, that's been part of the last week. And, of course, everybody, freaking out, wondering what's going on and what those sounds are and stuff. It's like when somebody new moves next to Fort Jackson and they're not used to hearing the mortar go off or Ravelry at night. And it's really funny because you'll see on like next door, like people kind of freaking out at the booms and not realizing how close they are to Fort Jackson. Because if you look at the aerial map, it's like a little blob shape. So there are certain parts of town you don't know you're that close to an Army base, and it's really kind of funny. So that happened. I had my dentist appointment. I think I shared about that last week, where I have perfect teeth again. Little OCD about how to take care of my mouth. I'm back to doing some more outdoor walks. We've had Sunday was like 78 degrees and sunny. I did try yesterday. It was 54, and my ears, my nose, and my fingers got really cold. So I don't know if I'm going to go outdoors today. The goal would be to, but I am filming at like 8 a.m. Like I am taking advantage of good time, good feelings, all that stuff. It's 8 a.m. This is Tuesday the 3rd. So I have my machine knitting class today, and Sherry has now opened it up to where there's one that's like 2 o'clock my time from 2 to 4. So if I can get everything done today, I'm going to try to go to that one instead of the 6 to 8 class, because I normally go to bed or start like wrapping up the night, brushing teeth, feeding the cats their treats, all that stuff at around 8 o'clock because I'm up at 3 a.m. So yay. Yeah. I think that's everything. I don't think there was something else. I don't have any other notes except for project notes. So let's jump into works in progress. Okie dokie artichoke. So I'm going to actually start with flatbed machine knitting. I made some panels. These look so unimpressive, I'm not going to lie. But these are going to be something similar between the comfort cloak and my crocheted half circle shawl. I have this tan color as well as a lighter version of this corally pink over there to do 2 panels, but I have 2 of these. I have not bound these off. I put some waste yarn into my live stitches. I want to do a crochet join. I'm thinking about doing like the lattice stitch in between these, so we have like a little lace in between. And I'm thinking about actually binding everything off at once. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how that's going to work, but these are attached to their cakes. So this is using Premier Basics. I can't remember the setting that I have the dials for. But a couple of you guys also have the LK150 knitting machine. I will leave a link for that on Amazon down below. It will be an affiliate link. No pressure to buy one. This isn't something you have to have unless you're interested in machine flatbed knitting. I will say I am finding tons of benefit to Sherry Dumbrell's Knitting for Dummies course, where I can actually talk to her every Tuesday. We're learning pants right now, but you can purchase the class, which includes, so like coming in live is free, but you can purchase the course, which also gives you patterns for everything that's been done, everything from soap sacks to, like I said, we're now on pants. We've done a cardigan, we've done a raglan top-down sweater, and sew as you go. We've done socks. So all of those patterns, as well as the recordings from the class that have been edited down, are available if you purchase the monthly class. But I'm finding tons of benefit just figuring out what's capable. I do have a mid-gauge machine, so mine is, for sport DK light size 4 yarn, so 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4-ish. So yeah, I am enjoying that. I plan on working on that some more during today's class because I'm very excited about trying to do this. It took me about an hour and a half to do the 2 panels. So I still need to come back and do hats for the 2 scarves that I've made too, but that's... I will leave a link for the Machine Knitting for Dummies class, or not the class, the Facebook group down below. The information for the class and everything is in the Facebook group. Up next, my Blue Yonder socks. So this is Simply Sock Yarn Company Splash Sock. This was part of the 2025 Q3, I think, mystery yarns. These are all their in-house yarns. So when you saw these last week, we were here or just below here because we had just finished the toe. Sunday's walk took me up to this marker. And then yesterday I got up to this marker. I will also try to leave a link for where I ordered these on Etsy. These are the Star Trek uniform markers that I got last year along with the pickle markers. So, like I said, I intended on using these more for projects for my husband. So there we go. I am using a rounded toe. I will be using the Shadow Wrap heel following Denise from Earth Tone Girls tutorial. Like I have it memorized, but like that's what I do. That's her pattern. And I think these are just going to be vanilla all the way up the cuff. I will talk about that in a minute. But yeah, anyway, still enjoying these. I'm hoping before the weekend I will be to where we hit the gold stripes so I can really see what this pattern is going to look like. I think these are going to look a lot like the My Little Ponies that I finished last week. My Little Pony socks that I made for me. My socks. And the other WIP, I have the Victoria Methodist Bristol Lenten Prayer Shawl. I will leave a link for this down below as well to the Ravelry thing. So I am doing size 4. This is designed for a size 3 yarn. I'm using a size 4 yarn. So I'm doing the biggest size as well as using a larger size yarn. I am using Touch of Alpaca from Lion Brand and Taupe. Last time you guys saw it, we were right here. It did take 14 days for me to have to add in a new ball of yarn, so I will have more than enough yarn to get through everything. I am totally going to have to make myself one of these. I love this lace pattern. I love how this looks. I love just everything about this. And everything, it's this gradual growing lace pattern, which is so dainty and so sweet and just so cute to me. So we started with eyelets, then we went to posies, then we had a little baby rosette. Then we moved into these blooming flowers. We got a little bit larger, and now we have almost more of like a daisy with a center, more like a sunflower almost. But it's like these growing little eyelets, and then we have the staggered eyelets on the side with our seed stitch border. So yeah, I definitely love this and cannot wait to see where we go next. I did not see where for the 4th we're moving our stitch markers. I am up to March 3rd. I did finish today's section. Bada bing, bada boom. And I still have my coffee markers on here. I will leave a link down below for those as well. I was wrong. The whole pattern is written by the same woman. The meditations are different people every week. So we now have our 3rd set of meditations. This is a pastor. This week is a pastor from a different church. So anyway, I'm enjoying that. I do enjoy doing donation projects during Lent. Number one, it helps me to think about other people because I do tend to be a little turned in on myself. I do tend to think a little bit more of like what's going on for me and for our household and in my... So it does help me to be mindful. This is in a Knit Picks bag. Stashing yarn is my superpower. And I do have... I think her name's Proper Pineapple. It's been a while since I watched her channel. She in 2020 kind of fell off my feed. But it's the Namaste Home and Crochet pen from her. I think her channel's Proper Pineapple. I think they were like going to do the van life thing. And then for some reason, like that's when everything fell off my channel for her, was in that 2020 transition. All right. Up next, we have the 2 FOs. This is going to be a really quick video today. All right. So, very excited about these. First one we're going to talk about are the Dusky Stripe socks. They are now complete. I do need to weave in the ends on this one. I still think the foot's going to be baggy. We'll see what he thinks. He hasn't tried them on since I finished them. So last time you saw these were right here. So I just had, like I said, like 15 rows until I was ready to bind these off. So this is Paint Box sock in summer vacation. And then this is a Deborah Norville Simplicity sock from Premier. Old. I mean, it's still Deborah Norville collection at that point. So yeah, definitely old. But yeah, so these are now complete. They are finished. I did, for some reason, a lot of people were very impressed with me out shopping this past Saturday, while knitting. Like a lot of people don't even comment on it. They might ask, like if they see me at breakfast, crocheting or knitting at the table, what I'm working on. But other knitters and crocheters saw me out and about, and they were questioning or commenting on the ability to walk and knit. And it's like, again, it's just a learned thing. I think anybody who has good balance and good peripheral vision can probably figure out how to knit and crochet. I would say like one way to do it is just practice pacing while doing something simple. I think that's personally a good way to do this. So next we have the Unicorn Fluff Shawl. This is the Pink Panther pattern. Last time you guys saw it, actually I think I mixed up my markers, but we were here. I was using this, I think, as my... Anyway, I had to count rows, so anyway. Last time you saw it was here, so we did finish this. I did decide to go ahead and use the different dye lot of the same yarn. And to me, I can see the difference. But I also know that there is a difference to be seen. Troy swears he can't tell the difference with them held up side by side, which one is which. But, you know, once again, I know these two tips are two different yarns, and I can 100% see it. So it just creates a little bit of a... In person, it almost looks like this is always in shadow just a little bit compared to its counterpart. And that's because the brights in this one are not that phosphorescent pastel neon, like the original yarn I had. They're much more saturated. The yellow was much more mazy. And that was my concern, is it would be obvious because you're missing that pop of that minty green and that highlighter yellow. But it's not like, ew, oh my gosh, you did that wrong. It's more like I said, it always looks like that tip to me is just slightly in shadow. So I guess it's fine. I will still wear it because I think it's beautiful. I may or may not have some other yarns I'm thinking about putting together to make this pattern again, because I really like how this worked up. And I do think this would be super easy if you increase the rate of increasing. And so I think this is every fourth row you're increasing on this one, I think. Yes. Every 4 rows you increase on this one. If you switch that to every 2 rows instead of every 4 rows, or you could, increase right side and wrong side and do it every 3 rows. Increase the rate of increasing though. And did 1 that goes across the whole shawl and 2 that go across half, and have, like 2. So you're using like 4 full fingering weight skeins or a full lace and 2 fingerings. I think, well, I can't really put this on with the shawl I already have. I think you could easily have a really cool bitonal shawl, or alternating rows, especially with the 2 yarns held together. But this is a super stretchy, even with the 2 stitch I-cord edging, it's still a super stretchy garter stitch wrap. So this could be worn as a scarf or a shawl. We do easily have the depth for a shawl here to keep your shoulders actually kind of warm. In the next video, talking about using the stash and the trials and tribulations I've experienced using stash with this. The skein I purchased, you'll notice we have 2 10 grams here. We also have a 20 gram and a other bit, and then a larger hunk that's on the shelf. I don't know what this company was doing. I know this was a long time ago. I've come across this before with indie dyers, and I think that's why for so long so many people had mixed feelings on indie dyers. But they clearly, number one, the yarn was in 2 pieces. This isn't like the person I bought it off of stored it wrong and it's an old yarn. These weren't snaps, these were cuts. So the way the hank was tied together, the ends had been tied together and it had been wrapped into itself to hold the hank in pieces. But yeah, so when I untied the knots, I didn't even cut the knots out like I would with some of these more modern where I can totally tell. These were 4-strand knots. Yeah, I'm not happy. 2 bits had been tied together and then tied into the wrapping yarn, or to keep it in a hank and prevent tangling. And then it was tangled all to Hades and back. It was a nightmare. It took me almost an hour with the Swift to unwind everything. And I had to wind things by hand. Like, this is actually in that video. Well, you'll actually, there's like a vlog clip that I took of like all the little balls and everything. But yeah, I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little salty about that. And it's not, like I said, once again, it's not the person I bought it off of's fault. It's the original dyer did this. And I know a lot of us were having issues with indie dyers and having problems like this, especially like the hanks that would be so tangled and stuff. And part of that was the manufacturing. Part of that was how they were being handled by the dyers. I don't know. I just got flashbacks though to 2006, like in my head. 2000 and well, it was about 2010 is when I really started getting more into fiber and understanding fiber, and that kind of came with the knitting and learning about knitting snobs and yarn snobs, and oh, you're using the young yarn, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like all of that in my life was about 2010. So going back to that 16-year stage, like I remember this being a problem. So anyway, this is all I had left of the Knit Pick Shadow. And again, this was in Pink Posy. I have two 10 grams here that I'm going to put in my scrap box for 10 grams of fingering weight yarn. And I do have, I can grab it for you. We're in here. Y'all don't mind if I walk off for a second. I had a little knob of this that went to my scrap shawl as well. But then we have this cake that's, you know, on my shelf waiting for the next project that this will be. So I do have a couple other things that I'm thinking about doing something similar to the Pink Panther. I might try to change that to match like some of the ideas that I have, but keeping in the inspiration by that. So I love how that shawl turned out though. If you're looking for a nice, easy, simple knit shawl that brings the impact, but is, you know, not, you know, you have to think just enough to where it's not completely mindless potato chip knitting, but it's an easy to memorize knitting pattern. I do highly recommend that. It will be down below in the description box, but I love the pattern. Could not recommend that pattern anymore. So great finished project. Just having issues with the dyer from 16 or 15 years ago is what it is. It is what it is. It's okay. Life will move on. It's an uptown problem. I don't need to worry about it. The project is done now. It doesn't need to ruminate with me any longer. So I am going to go ahead and take you guys to the cats. But before we go, I just want to let you know I love you guys. I am so happy you came and spent this time with me. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye, guys.